All right, today we're going to go over the naive pattern searching algorithm. And we use this to find a pattern in a string. So we can see up here where our pattern is going to be pumpkin, bat, and ghost. And we're going to start with our first pattern. We're going to look at it. We're going to say, do we have a pumpkin at the beginning? No, we got a ghost here. So let's move our index over and we're going to go down to the next one. And we're going to see that, do we have a pumpkin there? Nope, we got a bat. So we're going to move on to our last example here, and we're going to say, do we have a pumpkin? And yes, we have a pumpkin. Now, from there, we're going to start counting our pattern out. And we're going to move on to the next one. We have a bat. Do we have a bat? Yes, we do. And we move on to the next one. We say, do we have a ghost? Yes, we have a ghost. At this point, we can say we found our pattern, and we can return its index, or we can just return that we found a pattern and what index we found it at. Let's dive into the code. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to bring in our pattern. Our pattern is going to be a little spooky time. Let's have a little bit of fun. Our pattern is going to be ghoul. And for our search string, I'm going to copy and paste this from somewhere else. Let's look through spooky Halloween, ghoul, pumpkin, tricks, treats, vampires, ghoul, and pumpkin. Okay, now that we have that done, let's start by, let's make a function. Let's call it search. Let's take in our text. Let's take in our pattern. From there, I want to do, if I can spell today, I want to return a list of indexes if we found something. So I'm going to create an array above. I'm going to slow down here. We create match indexes. This is where we're going to store if we find any matches. We're going to push them into that array. And that's how we're going to return them. From here, we are going to do a for loop. Let I equal 0, not O. And then, well, I is less than or equal to text.length. I really can't spell. I have a lot of trouble when I'm doing videos. I++. Okay. Now this is going to be our controlling loop that iterates our string. So when I is 0, we're at S. When it's at 1, we're at P. And we're going to increment through and actually check every last one of these. Okay, from here, if they let match equal true, this is going to create kind of a placeholder to see if we found a match or not. Then we're going to make another for loop. J equals 0. Well, J is less than our pattern.length. J++. Okay. So we're going to start here. And then J we're going to use to represent our pattern. So 0 for J is going to be G, 1 H, etc., etc. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to loop through our whole pattern and try to match it. Now we're going to say here if text I plus J does not equal pattern J. If that's the case, we now know that our match equals false. So as we loop through here, so I is going to, like I said, I is going to represent where we're at in this string. So if I has this to here, when we add J to it, we're now going to compare G to H and then H to A. And we're only going to loop through for the length of this pattern. So if that's false, we know we don't have a match. Now what we can do is we come right outside of here and we'd say, am I in the right spot here? I believe so. Okay. If match, let's do our match indexes. Dot push. Because we never left our first for loop. We're still in that for loop, or we're still in this for loop. So at that point, we're going to push I into it. That's going to let us know the index. So if we had a match, we know where we started at, and we can match it that way. Okay. Now, that would cover us on all the matches. We would have created an array, but now we need to return that array. But we can't assume that we have that array. So let's do if match indexes.length is greater than 0. In other words, if we have something in our array, let's return match indexes. Now, if nothing got returned, obviously this is going to equate to false. Let's just skip that. Come down here. Let's return a -1. So we're going to try this again. Let's see what it does. Well, nothing, obviously. Let's go below this where it makes sense. Let's search, and it wants our text and our pattern. Let's go up here. Okay, so we got 15 and 46. Starting at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we found ghoul at index 15. What happens if we search for something that's not here? Try zombie. -1. The zombie does not exist in here, and we know that is definitely true. Let's try another one that we know exists, spooky. We're looking for a 0 here, and we have a 0. That kind of concludes this. I hope this was enough to get you started learning and understanding a little bit about pattern searches. This is not a super fast algorithm, but it is a start into understanding how that works. And we can see that clearly we're using some kind of pattern search just in our VS Code here. That when we highlight words that already exist, we're searching a string, we're finding them. I doubt it's this algorithm. It's probably a much faster one. But thanks so much for watching.